Vladislav Ardzinba International Airport and its history. Vladislav Ardzinba International Airport, formerly known as Sukhumi Babushara Airport from 2016 until 2023, and Sukhumi Dranda Airport from 1965 until 2016, is the main airport of the de facto independent Republic of Abkhazia. The airport is in the town of Babushara, a neighboring town of the village of Dranda, about 20 kilometers from the national capital of the Republic of Abkhazia, Sukhumi. The airport was finished in 1965 when it was part of the Abkhazian Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, also known as the Abkhazian ASSR, which was then part of the Soviet Union. After it was opened, it became one of the most important airports in the Soviet Union. Sukhumi Dranda Airport connected the Sukhumi area to almost all the major cities inside the Soviet Union, including Leningrad, Moscow, Sochi, Almaty, Novosibirsk, Astana, Tashkent, Riga, Baku, Yerevan, Bishkek, Vilnius, Krasnoyarsk, Tbilisi, Tallinn, Chisinau, Minsk, Dushanbe, and Samarkand, just to name a few. From 1965 until 1991, only a single airline serviced the airport and kept these vital connections to the rest of the Soviet Union running, which was the Soviet national airline Aeroflot. The airport's main goal was to bring people to the Abkhazian ASSR to enjoy the beautiful sunny beaches of Abkhazia. In 1970, the runway was expanded so that aircraft other than small regional airliners could land here, such as the Soviet Aeroflot Ilyushin Il-76 cargo plane, which after 1970 saw a steady coming and going from the airport, now also bringing in important cargo to the airport from other parts of the Soviet Union. In 1981, the runways were once again extended so that the airport could now support large Aeroflot planes such as the Ilyushin Il-86 aircraft. These services with Aeroflot continued until 1991, when, just like in many other parts of the Soviet Union, nationalist groups were demanding independence from the Soviet Union, and then suddenly, the Soviet Union was dissolved. With the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Aeroflot, the Soviet Union's national airline, was grounded, awaiting restructuring, and thus seized all flights to Sukhumi Dranda Airport. Shortly after, Vladislav Ardzinba declared Abkhazia to be an independent nation known as the Republic of Abkhazia, with himself as the president, and a war with Georgia ensued. Abkhazia officially won the war. However, widespread recognition of the Republic of Abkhazia never came, and most of the world to this day insists that Abkhazia is part of Georgia. Due to this disputed status, most nations have sanctioned the de facto independent state, and it has been largely cut off from the rest of the world. Due to this, the airport has fallen largely into disuse. The original terminal built in Soviet times was heavily damaged during the war with Georgia and was eventually completely abandoned after airline service was ceased and after the terminal was heavily damaged from fighting that occurred around the airport during the independence war with Georgia. A portion of the airport did become a home base for the small Abkhazian Air Force that maintained some Yakovlev Yak-52 fighter aircraft at the airport. After the war ended in 1993, the only portion that remained active was the Air Force section of the airport. The rest was completely abandoned in 1994. There were plans to revive the airport in 1996 and 1998. This, however, failed, and the airport was largely abandoned until 1999. In 1999, it was decided that the airport would finally be renovated and brought back to life. Glass was imported from the Russian Federation to begin work on a new airport terminal building. Once the new terminal building was finished by the end of 2000, a tornado struck the area and destroyed the glass in the new terminal building, forcing the airport to once again shut down. The airport was once again renewed and renovated, and this time opened again in 2001, 1 year after the tornado events. In 2006, the government of the Republic of Abkhazia, under President Sergei Bakapsh, expressed its wish to open Sukhumi-Dranda Airport back up to regular airline service, both domestically and internationally, and began negotiations with Georgia in an attempt to do so. However, negotiations failed as Georgia will not permit Abkhazia to run an airport, and the only way flights to and from Sukhumi would be allowed by the wider international community is if Abkhazia agreed to cease contact with Russia and settled a negotiation with Georgia, reunifying the two nations. After negotiations failed in 2006 to begin operating large-scale air services at the airport, the government of the Republic of Abkhazia formed Abkhazian Airlines in 2006. Abkhazian Airlines is the flag carrier and the only airline in Abkhazia. It purchased a used Soviet-built Antonov An-2, with which it would make flights to Pshku and back once per week. This airline has been flying to Pshku and back once per week since early 2006 from the airport. This is the only regular air traffic the airport has seen since its reopening in 2001. In 2008, the first foreign aircraft ever landed at the airport. It was a Russian aircraft belonging to the Russian Foreign Ministry and brought Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to the airport. Later in the same year, 2008, during the war in South Ossetia, another breakaway region in Georgia and de facto independent nation, for the first time since 1991, Russian cargo aircraft landed at the airport and used it as a restock and refueling depot. There were 30 documented landings of Russian Air Force Ilyushin Il-76 cargo aircrafts, which brought several thousand parachute units of the Russian army into the country. In July of 2011, the airport was purchased by the Russian company Novaport. That year, after an inspection of corporate Novaport staff, it was decided that the airport would be closed for renovations. These renovations lasted 2 years, and in 2013, the airport was reopened once again. However, despite the main airport being closed, the Abkhazian Air Force kept some of its aircraft there, and air service between Sukhumi-Dranda Airport and Pshku Airport remained active. When the renovations by Novaport were supposed to be done, the airport was supposed to see an increase in air traffic and see foreign, particularly Russian airlines, and the Russian national air carrier Aeroflot fly into the airport. This plan, however, had to be abandoned, as the wider international community, led by the United Nations International Civil Aviation Authority, European Union, the United States of America, Germany, Australia, France, Italy, Canada, South Korea, Japan, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland threatened to sanction both Russia and any Russian airline that would begin flights to Sukhumi, as it was in violation of international law due to Abkhazia's disputed status as a de facto independent state. The airport since has fallen into disrepair again, as there continues to only be one weekly commercial domestic flight with Abkhazian Airlines. In 2016, the airport was renamed to Sukhumi Babushara Airport. In 2022, the airport was renamed again, this time to honor the first president of the Republic of Abkhazia, Vladislav Ardzinba, and the name was changed to Vladislav Ardzinba International Airport. The airport today is littered with old and abandoned aircraft. Parked on the tarmac are several old Aeroflot Tupolev Tu-134 and Tupolev Tu-154 aircrafts, old Mi-24 helicopters of the Soviet Air Force. There is also an abandoned Yakovlev Yak-40 that sits on the tarmac to this day that was last used in 1993 by Georgian President Eduard Shevardnadze when he flew into the airport to take charge of Georgian soldiers fighting soldiers of the Republic of Abkhazia during the Abkhazian War of the Independence. The troops under President Shevardnadze were later either defeated and captured, killed, or retreated from the area along with President Shevardnadze, and the plane never taken away. It remained on the tarmac even as the airport was abandoned and stands in its original parking spot to this day. Since the invasion of the Ukraine and the Republic of Abkhazia siding with the Russian Federation in this war, Russia's national airlines, Aeroflot, as well as all other Russian airlines, have been sanctioned by the Western nations and have been banned from most Western airspaces and airports, particularly Aeroflot. But some other Russian airlines have since expressed interest in beginning flights to Vladislav Ardzinba International Airport and have been actively looking into cooperating with Abkhaz and Russian national authorities and to work with Novaport, the owner of the airport, to get the airport up to speed so larger flights can land and depart from the airport. In 2023, the Russian Federation loaned the Republic of Abkhazia money so that a large-scale renovation, the largest in the airport's history, can begin in either late 2024 or early 2025. So air services can begin from Russia by 2027 or 2028. However, as of November of 2024, this has not yet begun. There have been 5 incidents in the airport's history. These are: on August 14th, 1982, a Aeroflot Let 410 Turbulé collided with an Aeroflot Tupolev Tu-134 on the ground of the airport. Everybody on board the Let 410 Turbulé died, killing 11 people in total. There were some slight injuries on board the Tupolev Tu-134, but nobody on board this aircraft lost their lives during this incident. On September the 20th, 1993, a Orbi Georgian Airways Tupolev Tu-134A was parked on the tarmac and was damaged by bullets and artillery fire. There was nobody on board at the time, and thus no injuries or deaths occurred from this. On September the 21st, 1993, a Transair Georgia Tupolev Tu-134 was on approach to Sukhumi Dranda Airport and was shot down by Abkhazian military forces with a Strela 2 surface-to-air missile. There were 2 pilots, 1 navigator, 2 flight attendants, and 22 passengers on board. The aircraft crashed into the Black Sea, and all 27 people on board died. On September the 22nd, 1993, another Transair Georgia aircraft. This time, a Tupolev Tu-154 was hit by a surface-to-air missile that was launched by the Abkhazian military. The plane crashed at the airport, killing 108 out of the 132 people on board. On September the 23rd, 1993, a Orbi Georgian Airways Tupolev Tu-154B that was parked on the tarmac of the airport was hit and completely destroyed by mortar fire. No people were on board the aircraft at this time, and thus no deaths occurred from this incident. That covers this topic about Vladislav Ardzinba International Airport in Babushara, Abkhazia. I hope you have found this topic interesting. If you liked this video, please leave a like and feel free to leave a comment. And also make sure to subscribe to this channel, as I will endeavor to create more videos like this in other countries about their airports and airlines. Thanks again, guys, and see you in the next video.